What's up, baseball family?
Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Baseball Together. I'm Brad, and I'm going to be driving this ship that, like I said, we're moving into a new house, moving into a new ship, so we're still getting things figured out, if you will.
With the ballast worked out.
Yeah, exactly right. And by
Things
that, we
are
mean
shifting
intro.
in the hold.
We're working on it. We're going to get there. But
Yeah, we are.
I'm Brad. I'm here with Brig. How are you this evening, Brig? All things
Feeling
considered.
salty. Yep.
If you didn't know, Brig's Yankees lost tonight in a walk-off.
In a walk-off 10th inning with a 2-run bomb. It was the best baseball game I've seen in a very long time. And I can say that confidently, but I can also say that it should not have gone that way. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we will get into that in a minute. Before we do that, we want to remind you about Zaka Life. Zaka Life Organic Pain Relief Balm. You can use it to help with sore muscles, aching joints, and even migraines. It works great, and it's marijuana-free. Hit the link in the description to head to ZakaLife.com and use code BTPOD at checkout to save 5% on your order and support the show while you're doing it. All right, so we're going to get into postseason stuff here in just a minute, but before we do that, Brig, we need to address a couple of things. One has been kind of simmering. We kind of put it on the back burner there, but I think you were right. It's time to address it because there's another team up for sale. First, though, the Twins are up for sale. The owner released a statement saying it was time. His name is Carl Polad. I believe I'm saying that right. If not, then let me know, Twins fans. But he bought the Twins in 1984 for $44 million. Seems like a bargain in today's market.
That's cheap.
If I was an owner, I might take out a loan for 40, but that's not how it works. They don't let you do that anymore, not after the Dodgers fiasco, right?
But anyway. Right, exactly.
so, but this is the thing: is the current estimated worth of the franchise is $1.5 billion to $2 billion. I figure that's not a bad ROI. If you've been sitting on that team for 40 years,
yeah, not bad.
It is pretty good. A couple World Series wins in there. Okay, so this is the question, though, is I don't know exactly who's in line to potentially buy the team. Maybe A-Rod's group. They're trying to buy the Timberwolves.
They are.
So maybe if they don't get the T-Wolves, maybe they'll go into baseball.
You mean back into baseball? Because they tried to buy the Mets.
Baseball. Right.
It didn't work.
It didn't work, but who's to say this one won't?
Right? Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's interesting.
In that arrangement, A-Rod held like the smallest percentages.
Right, because he's the poor guy in the group.
Yep.
The athlete is always going to be the poor guy in the group. But they have him there as basically the spokesman and the relationship guy to get into the sports world and all that stuff. So their role is not the money. It's kind of the liaison, which I think makes sense.
However, I will say Cal Ripken Jr. is fulfilling both of those roles and doing a better job than I think A-Rod would with Baltimore.
Well, yeah, it's a personality thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, we shouldn't really
that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think there's a question about certain people's character, depending on how you want to split this hair.
So this is one of the things, though, Brig, is that anytime there's talk of a team selling, one of the questions that has to come up is relocation. And part of this is because there are cities in this country that desperately want Major League Baseball. Portland, Salt Lake, Nashville. I don't know if Charlotte's one of those teams that desperately wants it, but it would sure work.
Yep, they are, and it would work. And don't forget Orlando. There's that one guy with the pipe dream in Orlando.
Right, yeah, you're right. How could I forget Orlando? Of course, the Dreamers.
The Dreamers.
And they are dreaming.
Yeah,
but
it's a pipe dream.
So let's talk about this. We'll ask this in just a minute, too. Do you think with the Twins there is a potential for relocation if they sell or when they sell?
Nope.
I absolutely agree with you. There is no reason to move that team. They have a strong fan base. They have a relatively new stadium that's really super duper freaking nice, by the way.
Everybody says it's just fabulous.
It's a fantastic ballpark. I loved every minute of being in that place. So No reason for the Twins to move. Twins fans, don't worry, you're staying put. I
Yeah.
think if if Major League Baseball let the Twins move,
Oh, man.
Rob Manfred should be tried for war crimes, in my
Yeah. Yes. And treason.
Yes, exactly right.
Like, no, absolutely not. That would be a travesty. I'm
It
not
would
having
be.
it.
Okay, so let's move on to the other team that's for sale now. The White Sox
Okay.
have a for sale sign in their yard.
They do.
Jerry Reinsdorf, just within the last day or so, has decided it's time. He bought the White Sox in 1981 for $20 million. Current
Ooh.
estimated value of the franchise is $2.05 billion. Again, not a bad ROI.
That's pretty good.
So
I can't believe the
think
White Sox are worth more than the Twins.
it's the market.
I know, but it's still shocking. Like,
Despite the fact that let me look real quick. What's the value of the Cubs?
oh, the Cubs have got to be
the
top
White Sox
5.
are the little brother. The Cubs are worth $4.1 billion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's
according to
not even a
Wikipedia.
question.
Google's AI overview said that as of March 2024, the Cubs are worth $4.225 billion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even a competition there.
No, it's not. So I think that leads to the question again: is there a potential for relocation?
7 gazillion% absolutely not.
Okay. What about what's his name? Stewart, his group in Nashville,
Yep.
who is trying really, really hard to get a team in Nashville. What if they end up buying the team? Then what? Then are they? I mean, they're trying to get a new stadium in Chicago.
Same thing with Manfred being tried for treason. Same thing. Storied
I agree.
franchise, been around a
Too
million
much
years.
history.
Too much history. Too much rivalry. Too much. Nope, not having it.
Yeah, it's really hard to imagine
Unfathomable.
moving without fathom. It's too hard to imagine moving moving the White Sox from Chicago and putting them somewhere else. I absolutely agree with you. But I mean, there's a lot of history with the A's in Oakland, and they were kind of like,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so I heard somebody say, I can't remember for the life of me, and I wish I could. I've been wanting to bring this up because somebody on the social media got on and said, look, here's what's going to happen. They are going to love the A's in Sacramento. They're going to eventually build up the fan base, and it's going to be a great thing for them. They're going to find out that it's a good fit. They're going to let Las Vegas approve everything and begin building a ballpark in the same location with everything. And they're going to let Vegas be one of the expansion teams while they keep the A's in Sacramento and expand the ballpark. Somebody said that the other day, and I was like, actually, that is feasible. That is not an outside the lines possibility. That makes some sense.
I could see that. That would be really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, be really fascinating. I don't know. This is the other thing though, is that the difference between relocating the White Sox and relocating the A's is that the Coliseum is a disaster. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Terrible stadium.
No question.
In horrible disrepair. Progressive Rate Field?
Whatever. Some company.
Progressive Field?
Yeah. Something.
Is
guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed rate.
It was guaranteed rate. Anyway.
I think it's still guaranteed rate because I'm pretty sure the Guardians play Progressive Field.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But
anyway, I think it's
guaranteed rate field is not the best ballpark. And this I heard this on Foul Territory today. They were talking about this. They're like, it's not the best ballpark, but it doesn't have any issues. It's not in disrepair. It doesn't need major repairs or renovations or anything like that. The ballpark is fine. Is it the best? Absolutely not. Is it good? Yes. Or maybe not even good, but it's fine.
Sufficient.
There's nothing wrong with
sufficient.
it. Sufficient.
Right? Sure,
it is sufficient. It is sufficient for their needs. And so I think that's one of the reasons why Major League Baseball would not be so quick to pull the White Sox out of Chicago, is because no, you have a fine ballpark. You don't need to go get another one. If you want to get another one, build it in Chicago. You have a fan base that supports
Right.
you,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes, exactly.
And you're in an amazing TV market too. So
Can't beat it.
make it work.
Well, it's very few can beat it. I think if we're going to talk about relocation, it's not moving cities and markets. It's putting your tent in a different spot in town, right? You're just going to pick up sticks and move to the other side or something.
Mhm.
But it's going to stay in
Yeah.
Chicago. That's a
Yeah.
stupid proposition, I think. Foolish.
Yeah, I think they'll stick around too. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to go anywhere. There would be
No.
riots in the streets. Okay, speaking of
would be with
stadiums
them.
though. Speaking of stadiums though, the Tropicana Field doesn't have a roof anymore. It got blown off during a hurricane. So this is a really interesting thing, Brig.
I know.
It looks like it's going to cost about 9 figures to replace it, to get it fixed. And the Rays are kind of like, do we want to fix it? We're getting a new ballpark that's supposed to open in 2028.
Yep.
Do we pick up our tent and move somewhere else close by for a few years?
Yep, you do.
And even if they do decide to replace it, it won't be ready for the start of the season in 2025. So they're gonna have to find a temporary home. So this is really interesting, Brick. So I was reading about this today because I was like, you could just go over to one of the spring training facilities, right? There's a bunch of them in the area, but apparently they cannot because of there's a reason there's a roof on the Trop, because afternoon rains make it hard to prep the field for any game ever.
Dude,
in Florida.
It'll just open up and dump and then be done.
And be fine. Yeah. Yeah. It's
no. Like
Florida's
it'll just
bonkers like that.
It's weird. It'll just rain and then it stops.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Florida's bonkers like that.
Yeah.
So you can't have a place without a roof on the Gulf Coast. You've got to go somewhere that has it. You've got to be somewhere. So one of the options is like, well, what if they went down to Miami? Well, that's not going to work because they overlap something like 43 games at the Marlins. So that won't work.
Yeah, that's not.
So I have a proposition, Brig.
Ooh,
after Hurricane Katrina, the New Orleans Hornets of the NBA, currently the New Orleans Pelicans, relocated for a couple years, I think, to Oklahoma City. This was before the Thunder were the Thunder and they were still the Seattle Sonics.
Right.
It was a test drive for a city that wanted a major league team.
Oh.
So pick up the Rays, put them in Nashville, Charlotte, maybe bounce it between the two based on their schedules, figure things out.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they're the Southeastern Rays for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Until they can figure out, until they can get their new stadium built, and then those cities can have a test drive of a big league team and be like, wow, they sold out every single game. That's amazing. Absolutely.
Oh, that's money.
Nashville gets a big league team. Absolutely, Charlotte gets a big league team.
Why the
heck not?
Absolutely. I'm in love with this idea.
That's what I think needs to happen.
Yes. Yep.
And you can't
100%.
And you can't put them so far away as you can't put them in Salt Lake because that's too far away. You've alienated your fan base at that point. You can't put them in Montreal because, again, you're alienating your fan base. Keep them in the Southeast. Keep them in Nashville and Charlotte. Test drive down there.
Well, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Tampa Bay's AAA ball club is in Durham, North Carolina. It's the Bulls. So you immediately have a baked-in pipeline
affiliation
in Charlotte. It's just, and there's a AAA facility in Charlotte that is a White Sox with the Knights, and it is a absolutely gorgeous ballpark.
Well, Nashville has the Sounds.
Exactly. Also, just so many shoe-in opportunities. Now you don't want to move your AAA team out. I don't know what you would do with them, but
no, I think what you do is you just share facilities and make the Rays are going to have to be kind of nomadic is what would have to happen. You would have to adjust the schedule and make it work based on those teams' home schedules. Like, okay, the Rays are home this week, but so are the Sounds. So let's go look at Charlotte. Well, the Knights are on the road, so they can have the Knights Stadium. Well, okay, the Knights and the Sounds are home, but the Bulls are on the road, so send them to North Carolina, which kind of sucks for the Rays, right? The Rays players are definitely getting the short end of the stick here. But you know who wins? Is the fans.
Yep.
Big time. Durham, they get to go see the guys who they saw play in the minor leagues. Charlotte, they get to go see big league baseball down the street from their house. Same thing with Nashville. They don't have, like, we love minor league baseball, but big league baseball is different. It is a completely different animal.
100%.
So why the heck not? Make it happen. Make it work. Like I said, it kind of sucks for the players. They're not going to love it. But at the same time, though, like, it's a huge win for those markets.
Yeah. Let me see something really quick. I know we got to move faster, but the Jumbo Shrimp are in Jacksonville, and they're AAA.
That'd be a good one.
Yep. That's not as far away as you'd think.
Yeah.
So that's just a quick search really quick. There's a lot of ball clubs in Florida, to be fair. But
right. To be fair.
Pensacola has a AA team. Tons of single A. Yeah. Just you don't want to move into
I don't think the single A parks would be big enough. I think you got to stick with AAA.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think AAA would work for a couple years.
I do too. And the test the market theory you've come up with, Bangarang Rufio.
Bangarang, Peter. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's talk about playoffs. The playoffs are going on this very moment as we speak, but let's go back to Tuesday. So we had everything caught up through Monday, so let's go back to Tuesday. ALCS Game 2 happened that day. The Yankees won this one 6-3. The Guardians looked like they were playing Little League defense, dropping pop-ups and just not making plays, right?
Which was weird because defense was a strength of theirs.
Right. Yes. They've been very good. But on the other hand, the Yankees, as according to John Sterling, were running the bases like drunks.
Yeah. Oh, man. And it is not wrong.
And they continue to.
It's been so sloppy.
What? And that's been like a problem all season, hasn't it? Because that's what he said. That's what they do. They run the bases like a bunch of drunks.
Yeah.
Why is that? Do you know what the deal is with that?
No. I have no idea. If it was limited to one player, okay. All right, we have an isolated issue, right? We talk about process optimization. You look for the kink, right? You look for the single point of failure. There's too many points of failure at this point. We've seen Glaber do it. We've seen Jazz do it tonight. Trevino did it. Friggin' Rizzo did it yesterday. Oh, man, or the other day or whatever. Holy crap, it's been a nightmare.
It's everybody, man.
Doesn't matter who it is.
So weird.
Cabrera got into a rundown. Yeah, it's just like, no.
Was it Volpe today who got lucky that Jose Ramirez had snow coned the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So it almost feels like the Yankees escaped with one there, despite it being a 6-3 game. But
they got lucky for sure.
Yeah. So let's move on to Wednesday's game, the NLCS Game 3, the Dodgers and the Mets. The Dodgers won that one 8-0. It was a laugher.
Oh, my word.
Brig, if you're a Mets fan, what was your level of concern coming into Game 4?
Panic. Coming into Game 4, I was panicked.
Absolutely, because that's twice you've been blown out now. Once is an isolated incident. Like you said, you can kind of see what went wrong or just drop it and flush it all the way, say that's gone, and we're moving on. But that's twice this series that they've been blown out now. That's not good.
No, that's bad.
And not just blown out, but just completely shut down. They didn't even score a run.
I know.
So
which means that the book is working. Whatever's in the book, it's legit.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's not just guys.
Go ahead.
That's forcing you to play poorly. Yeah, it's forcing you to play poorly is what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? They took away your ability to be effective.
Yeah, they did. Exactly right. So let's get into that right now. Let's get into Game 4 because that's happening this very moment. So we could spend a couple minutes on it. Currently, they're in the top of the fifth inning. The Dodgers are up 5-2. The Mets have gotten some timely hits. They kind of got lucky on scoring that second run, bases loaded, and Nimmo was able to beat a routine ground ball, which was odd because he's got that foot issue.
That's true.
But I don't know. It doesn't. I just don't know that the Mets can hang. You know. Do you think I'm out of line there with that, or do you think that's
no? You're not out of line. I think what's happened is the Dodgers said, "Okay, we see you," and now they're doing it. Right? They know exactly what to do, and they're doing it. They've got a playbook, and they're following it. And honestly, this is the end for the Mets. Like,
Okay, so if the Mets don't get this one, they're done.
Yeah.
But if the Mets can come back and win this game and force a game 5 and then and then if it goes 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going to go 6 if they win this game.
6.
Hello. Yeah. Honestly, I think if they win this one, they can probably take the series. As much as it looks like the Dodgers have been dominant this whole way, because it kind of feels like the Dodgers pitching has been held together with duct tape and zip ties.
Yeah, some of it has. Some of it really has.
Which can be effective. To this point, it's been really effective. They figured something out. They got the zip tie in the right spot against the Padres. Shut them down, right?
Yeah.
They it's still working against the Mets. It's still working, but there are some weaknesses. Stuff is eventually going to start to stretch and break. And if they have to go too long with that bullpen, I think that it's going to be their undoing.
I agree.
So I think if this series ends up going 6 or 7, I think the Mets are going to take it.
You really think so?
I think they could.
That's crazy.
I think it's possible.
I mean, anything's possible. That's baseball, Susan, right? Especially postseason baseball.
Right.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yep. Anyway, we got to move on, but
I'm not. We do. Okay, let's talk about the Yankees.
I want the Mets to win, okay?
I know you do. You want a Subway Series so bad. I want a cross-country series so bad.
Listen, I want a cross-country series too, but I don't want a Yankees-Dodgers World Series because that is just a recipe for disaster.
Not good news.
Yeah, that's bad for me.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so let's talk Yankees and Guardians, Game 3. Final score of that game was 7-5. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
two-run
the Guardians
bomb in the 10th.
Yes, David Fry. That was unreal. So he hit it and knew it was either hitting the wall and scoring the run because they had a runner on second. So hitting the wall and scoring the run, or it was gone and didn't matter.
Yep.
But I could not believe what it took for the Yankees to tie the game, take the lead, get an insurance run, all of it, and then for it to all just go away.
It was so hard fought. It was such a battle.
All that happened in 2 innings.
This was legitimately one of the best games. I'm telling you.
It was a fantastic
game. But look, they are. Check it out. Listen to me. The Yankees went 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 8 guys on base. Okay? You see what I'm saying? You know what the Guards did? They left 11 on base, and they went 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Neither team deserved to win this game. That's why it was this close as it was. And listen, Linda, if Ian Hamilton didn't get hurt with that pitch or in that race to first, had he not gotten hurt, the game would have gone differently. But he did. So you got to play the game you're given, right? You got to play the cards that you're dealt. So here's what happened. They get Meza out there, and he has to take his warm-up on the field in front of 40,000 people and 3 million fans watching at home. Meza...
Well, he starts cold, too, by the way.
And he starts cold. He doesn't have any prep time at all, which is nobody's fault, okay? Nobody's fault. But the moment he gets the call and you decide, okay, who are we bringing in right now to take over for Hamilton? The minute that happens, you start warming up some of the schmuck in the bullpen, and you do it immediately, Aaron Boone, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you're counting on this guy to come out and get a couple of outs, starting cold. You know he's going to rush himself through his warm-up because he's on the mound in front of all these fans, and the tension's high, and he wants to be a hero. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to rush that warm-up process, okay? That means that you're not going to be at your best. You're just not. It's impossible. So then, especially because you're not a closer and you don't have the adrenaline junkie thing going on. So then what happens is they leave him in way too long. He has to face a minimum 3 batters. That is plenty of time to get another dude rocking and rolling in the bullpen with a suitable warm up and plenty of time to really get it dialed in. You have Mesa face the minimum 3. You bring somebody else in like Canely, and then let them get the final out if that's what needs to happen, or even the final 2. I don't care. Whatever it is, you let that guy shut it down. Okay? That's what you do. Then, why are you... We know Luke Weaver is capable. We know he's gotten multiple out saves across 2 innings, right? He's had 4 out saves, had 5 out saves. Why we took so long to bring him in, and who knows how long a warm-up he got as well, by the way, because it was a uh-oh situation when we called him. Bro, I think the game came down largely to mismanaging those pitching situations. That's what I think happened.
I think you're right. I agree. We have a comment, Brig. This is from Yo.
What's up,
Go
yo?
Guards.
Oh,
Go
man. What up, yo?
But
Welcome
you know,
to
I
the
thought
show.
I had Cleveland dead and buried going into this game. I was like, this is going to be it. This will be the end of it.
Too.
But they showed a lot of life coming back home, and
boy,
I don't think it's the end anymore.
I don't either. And they ground it out. Like, hats off to them. Like, they earned every moment of this game. They really did. And the Yankees blew it, right? Like, clearly the Yankees blew it. And it was mismanaged, like I said. They had plenty of opportunities. They're running drunk on the base paths. They're being foolish. Some of that, like, I can't tell you how many times I have to say this. Rizzo is hesitating with the backhanded snags. He is hesitating. You can say whatever you want, but it looks like hesitation. And what's with Trevino trying to hit back picks every 3 minutes and throwing it as far into right field or left field as he can possibly do it? And Jazz getting 3 feet off the ground and leveling out his 6-foot frame just to try and snag these balls because Jose Trevino is trying to throw it to Alex Verdugo or somewhere in the friggin' Great Lakes. This is ridiculous. I'm so mad. And so you leave Trevino in way too long, and you know that Wells is better behind the plate right now. He just is, and he's serviceable at the plate. At least
he hasn't been though.
At the plate.
He hasn't been serviceable at the plate. That's why Trevino played tonight.
No, Trevino played tonight because of the matchup for the opening pitcher. Once Boyd got taken out, you put Wells back in there. He's not a defensive liability, Brad. His offensive capabilities or incapabilities do not cancel out Trevino's defensive inabilities right now. They don't. It's not a 1-to-1. And Trevino's offensive output does not cancel out and make up that much difference between Wells' offense. It just doesn't. It's not a 1-to-1. Oh,
I don't know, man. I feel like they pulled Austin Wells because he's been so bad so far at the plate.
He has been bad.
That's why. Because he hasn't been giving Judge any protection. Because you move Wells out of the lineup, then you move Giancarlo Stanton up to the number 4 slot, which is what they did tonight.
Yep.
And Judge is going to see more pitches because, yes, they pitched around Soto in the 8th inning. They didn't throw a single ball in the zone. They pitched around him, absolutely put him on. So then you go pitch to Judge. I was like, smart.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to right now with the way
Guy's
Judge
got a 174 average.
Yes, pitch to him. So they do. What does he do? He smokes that. That ball was a screamer, by the way.
Dude, it was a laser.
Look out in right field. Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that. And you're like, oh, well, shoot. He did what we were hoping he wouldn't do and we didn't think he would do. Here comes Stanton, does what you thought he would do.
About time.
Right?
But also, yes. About time for Judge, I mean.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But Stanton comes in and takes the lead with the solo shot the very next at bat. So I don't know. It felt like Cleveland did what they needed to do in that situation, and things really worked out for the Yankees. It was very fortunate. But ultimately, though, I would be concerned about some of the guys who are not contributing in that lineup. I would not put Jose Trevino behind the plate again for the rest of the series.
Never again. Not one time.
No, because
No.
Jazz Chisholm's freak athletic ability saved that game several times.
That's the only reason.
It would have been over in the ninth inning had Jazz not jumped out of his boots.
And it might have been over before then. We might have rolled over before then because it was that bad.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say is Class A has now given up more runs this postseason than he did all season long. So put that in your prayer and ponder it. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy. Did not see that coming out of him this postseason, by the way.
No.
Because that's not good. But anyway, so that's what's been going on so far. Upcoming Friday, tomorrow, NLCS Game 5. Game will be at 5:08 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. You've got Jack Flaherty versus TBD. Look out for TBD. He's been wicked, by the way.
TBD's pretty good. His track record's not bad.
Pretty good. Yeah. ALCS Game 4 is also on Friday, 8:08 p.m. start time on TBS. You've got Luis Heel. Honestly, I said Schmidt, I think, earlier, and then they changed it to Heel.
Schmidt, he took the mound today. So
that's right. Okay. So maybe I just misread that. So you got Heel versus Gavin Williams on Friday. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday, ALCS Game 5, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time, again on TBS. We don't have starters yet for that one. And then Sunday will be the NLCS Game 6, if necessary. Time on that will be TBD based on if it needs to be played. And then Monday, ALCS Game 6, NLCS Game 7, both if necessary.
Yep.
So,
and I think you'll see us next on Tuesday. 6. So, by the time you hear from us on Tuesday, we'll be headed to the World Series, one way or the other.
Very likely, because we might end up having a Game 7 in the ALCS by then on Tuesday.
It's true.
Very well could. But the National League will be decided, so we'll know who the National League side will be. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us on our Thursday night live episode of the Baseball Together podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review everywhere that you can, especially on the YouTube machine. Things have been going well there, and we really appreciate it. We thank everyone for how well things are going over on the YouTube side. We're going to get together some giveaways because we hit 1,000 subs before the end of the season, just like we said we wanted to. So we're going to do a couple giveaways to celebrate, and we'll let you know what those are as they're coming down the pipe. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next week. Takes forever to stop.